Hi guys! Okay, so today I thought that I would do a video on speech delays and things that have helped Sophia go outside. Gosh. See, every time I try to do a sit down video, I'm telling you. And things that have helped Sophia with learning how to speak, and then also helped her with like learning how to sign and better communication and everything. So these are just some of the tools that we've found and that we've been given by like speech therapists or by friends who also have kids with speech delays. So it may or may not work for everybody. So let's see. I'm trying to pull up one of them because Sophia has her own iPad. Okay, so the first one that we started doing, and Sophia, oh, that's loud. Okay, I'll show you this one so I can, oh, okay, it's done. Jeez. Okay, so the first one that we started doing when she was probably around 1, we started doing baby sign time, and we saw this one. I think it used to be on Netflix actually. So I saw this one originally on Netflix, and then when she started with her first speech therapist, which was that was kind of a weird thing. She had a speech therapist that was over it was like Skype. It didn't work out very well because Sophia didn't really understand as a 1-year-old like why she's just staring at the computer talking to somebody on a screen. But that speech therapist gave us the DVD of baby signing time, because Netflix, I don't think, has it anymore. But this is a really good one, and it looks fast-paced, because I was like, how is any kid supposed to keep up with this? Because they do it in like song, but Sophia actually picked up a lot of the signs from it really quickly. And quickly on signing, because I had a family member actually ask me about this, and I used to be a preschool teacher also, and teaching your baby sign language will not affect their ability to learn how to speak. So teaching sign language is good for any baby because it helps them with any kind of communication frustration, and before they're able to speak, even if they don't have speech delay, it can help them better communicate what they need to say. So teaching them basic signs like eat or more or all done really helps babies. It helps them learn how to speak, and it helps their brain development. So signing does not hinder their ability to speak whatsoever. It just helps enhance their ability to communicate and will reduce frustration. Also with babies and toddlers that can't communicate what they want, you will see a lot more aggression. You will see biting, hair pulling, those kinds of things happen a lot when babies and toddlers, whether they're speech delayed or not, cannot communicate their needs. They will bite and hit a lot more if they can't get out what they want. So signing is a good way to help reduce those kinds of behaviors and help reduce frustration and stress in your child. So the baby sign time is the first one. We were also given books by one of my friends. Her son was I think he was speech delayed too, and so they taught him signs. So she did food signs, and these are board books, and play signs, and then these kinds of signs, and these are just board books, and you can go over them with your child, and then it shows the picture and the sign for it. American Sign Language and Baby Sign Language actually are a little different. So whatever is the easier sign, and signs can be adjusted for your kid. That's what we've done with Sophia, because she also has low muscle tone. Sometimes the signs are a little bit harder for her to get all the way accomplished. Like like dog is a snap and a slap on the leg, and sometimes that's a big kind of movement for one word. So Sophia just slaps her leg for puppy, and so that's just an adjusted sign for her. And then we ordered these ones, so baby signs. Baby signs are usually easier than regular American Sign Language. I guess baby signs are different for dog. I didn't even see that one. It says that you stick your tongue out and pant like a dog. So that is different in baby signs. But American Sign Language, it's snap and slap. So that one's adjusted for babies. So they do adjust things for babies to be able to do things easier. And they have like more and all done. Those ones are really good for food and playing and all kinds of things. And we did mealtime signing and going out signing, and I believe I got all 3 of these off of Amazon. And then, let me see. These flashcards, I believe that these flashcards, yeah, this is just American Sign Language. And so flashcards have the signs on them. They have the person doing them, and then they have the words. So this one is play, and then they have the person doing it. And what I recommend doing is going through it and picking like 2 or 3 that you want to work on for the day with your kid, going through it before you do it, and signing it yourself, or even YouTubing. YouTube is great for sign language, and they have a lot of Baby Sign Time, I believe, is also on YouTube. But if you want an actual physical copy, I'm sure you could find one on Amazon, but I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube also. But YouTube is a good way for you to learn it if you want to be the one to teach them, or for them to be able to watch the videos and do it also. And then these kind of go like with preschool and with learning, like giving them words, because I think these things kind of go hand in hand. So the thing with speech delay that I think a lot of people forget, and even doctors, we've had to remind doctors and people around Sophia, and like I said in the Denver update, that her neurologist was like, oh, you know, you're gonna have to remind doctors that they need to watch what they say in front of her. Just because a kid has a speech delay, it doesn't mean that they don't understand what's being said in front of them. So it's important to not only watch what you say in front of your child, as far as like talking about how they can't say certain things, or like the language that you use around them, not being able to do certain things. It needs to be said in a certain way, like, oh, well, they're still learning, or those kinds of things are a better way to say it. And also watching what you say as far as like cuss words and stuff, because Sophia has speech apraxia. It's not just speech delay. So her brain and her muscle connection is delayed, and so it's harder for her to get words out, but she can just spout a whole sentence off sometimes, or just certain words just come out of her mouth. And I have had that happen before, and I have said a cuss word in front of her and not realized it, and I realized it after she said it right after I said it. So you have to be careful. And then so talking a lot, and I'm probably good at that. But everywhere we go, I try to point everything out to Sophia, like during the season changing, or like when the leaves are changing, when they're turning orange, we talk about the colors, or when like during the spring and summer, when they're turning green and the grass is coming back, we talk about that, and we talk about the sky and what the weather is, and if we're going by and there's cows or there's horses and we talk. I mean, I'm sure she gets annoyed with me, but we do it. And then I found, so colors and shapes, this is part of her preschool, but it's also good for her speech. And I found these in the dollar spot at Target. And then I found these number and alphabet flashcards. And I think, yeah, these were in the dollar spot at Target. And those are good for preschool and also for speech development because they have the proper words, and then it's also good because they're learning what their numbers and the alphabet is. And the flashcards I found on Amazon. Then my next thing is choices. So I think in a couple of the vlogs I've shown her making choices for her hairdos. So we try to do choices for her so she can be as independent as possible, because sometimes, like one of her therapists said, some parents with kids who have disabilities will make their children more disabled than they are because it's easier to just do things for them. It's easier if they are slower at picking up a toy, or if they're slower at making a decision, it's easier to just do it. And especially if they seem like they're frustrated, but it's better in the long run to have them do it. And so in one of the videos you saw, like I said, no, you have to make a choice, and then, you know, the next clip she made a choice, but that was like 10 minutes of us sitting there and she had to make a choice. And we sat there and I have her make a choice. Some days I will eliminate a couple of choices for her, but I try not to make choices as much as I can because she needs to be as independent as she can, and she likes to be independent. So even if she's feeling like, oh, I don't feel like doing this today, if I make a choice for her, she may not like that choice. And so she needs to know that she is capable of doing those choices, and that if it's made for her, she may not like it. So I made these hairdo cards, and I tried to find ones that looked exactly the same. So it started out good, and then I couldn't find these little cartoon guys for the rest of the hairdos that I was looking for. So, and I guess it didn't matter to her. So we set them out and she picks a hairdo every day, and it helped because she also has sensory issues with her head, so it helps a little bit in the morning with her doing her hair also, that she has made a decision on her hairdo so she doesn't cry as long. But making choices is a big thing. And we also have her, like, her 4 o'clock feed. During her feeds, since her crawling right now, because she is getting on her hands and knees and rocking, but she isn't crawling like with her belly off. Her crawling right now is the army crawl. So because she has a G-tube, that button is in her stomach, and so she has an attachment that comes out of her stomach to go to the feeding tube bag. It will most likely come out or be pulling pretty hard if she is left on the floor and able to just like do whatever she wants. So we put her somewhere during her feeds, which most kids are put in a high chair or they sit at a table anyway. So I guess that's kind of normal for a feeding schedule. So, but we have her choose, like, if she wants to, she has like a little lounger rocker toddler chair. If she wants to sit in her lounger, if she wants to sit in her activity chair where she can play with like cars, or she can color or play with her iPad or Play-Doh. And I actually want to make like little signs, and Eric brought little circles at home, but I just haven't done it yet. But we will put our hands out for those, and that is an easy thing too. You just put your hand out and give them a choice. Like, one hand is the lounger, one hand is the activity chair, and they pick that. And what I would do, at least at first, or if it seems like they're not paying that much attention, is make them pick twice and switch the hands. So like say lounger and activity chair, and if they pick this hand, then say, okay, we're gonna pick again to make sure that that's the actual choice you want. So you say lounger on this hand now and activity chair on this hand, and make sure they pick the same hand or the same choice twice, no matter what hand it's on. And so that is helping them make decisions, and then that's also giving them the word at the same time, and that's helping them be more independent even if they don't have the vocabulary to get it out. Now we just got, and I was gonna show this, we haven't used as much because she does have the low tone, so it's a little bit harder, but there are apps on iPads for choice making. We still have to work a little bit more on that. So you can program it to be like, and there's like really expensive apps that you can, and then there's like whole systems, I can't remember what they're called, but they're like thousands of dollars. There's eye-gazing systems, and there's also systems that you can use with touch. There's a girl at Sophia's Therapy that has the eye gaze system. It's thousands of dollars, but they use their eyes. They don't even have to use their hands to be able to talk with this machine. I don't think it'll work for Sophia because she is trying to communicate verbally, and I don't, she tried it one time and she wasn't super interested in it, so I don't know how it'll work, but they don't really have one to try anyway, and you don't want to spend that much money on something that they may not like. But we just got these buzzers, these answer buzzers, and so she has switches where you can, I don't know if her switches do, but at therapy she has switches that her speech therapist records like what choice she wants to do. So book or car, and Sophia hits the button and says book. And so we just got these buttons to be able to do that, so I'm pretty excited. I've been waiting for a while for those. So we just got the buttons for that. And I had a whole list of the things that I wanted to cover on. And I also, part of, and not just speech delay, but like kids learning to speak anyway, just like with signing, is engaging with their babbling. So making sure that I don't want to say pretend, but I guess it would be like pretend to know what they're talking about when they're babbling, because to them that is the beginning of their conversation skills. They're learning to talk through listening to you, and they are repeating conversation skills through their babbling. And so it's still important even if they are older and they're still doing that, because they are just taking a little bit longer to be able to do it. So and then I also, music is, I think, is really important. So songs that repeat certain letters, or like Baby Bumblebee, I think is the name of the song. If you want to look it up on YouTube, that's a good one. But it has the letter B like constantly. And then just regular music. I think music is good for everything. So listening to music is always good, and Sophia will start to sing with it, and I think that music can help everything. And then, let's see. So we did all of that. And age-appropriate books. So I know that if they can't speak, it may be tempting to get them books or TV shows for kids that are younger than them, and unless there is something else cognitively that tells you that they can't understand something their age or that's age appropriate for them, get those kinds of things that are, because just because they can't speak at their age level, it doesn't mean they can't understand at their age level, like I was saying before. So getting age appropriate books, letting them watch educational shows that are age appropriate, or cartoons that are age appropriate, I mean, honestly, is important. I also like doing little activities that involve speech. Like we just did a summer bucket list with Sophia, and she actually contributed one of, like, she said a word to put on the bucket list because she got excited about it, and so it helped her get a word out. So she said play as part of our summer bucket list. So now that's part of our bucket list after we were putting all of the words up, and she was agreeing with it, and she was picking the colors of the rays and everything, and so that helped her get a word out. And then praising the efforts when they're trying to get a word out. Now this may not apply to all kids with speech delay, because some kids with speech delay have different reasoning. Sophia's happens to be the speech apraxia, and so she will try to get a word out for a very long time and not be able to get it out. But we make sure to praise her effort of trying to get it out, even if she in the end can't fully get it out and she stops. We will still tell her, like, good job, you almost got it, like, that's awesome that you tried so hard to get that word out. We'll also try to finish the word for her and see if it's the right word. Obviously sometimes she's just like, no, that's not the right word, but sometimes we do get it right, and she gets excited because we understood what she was trying to say. And so trying to engage in the conversation with her, and also even if you don't understand what she's trying to, what they're trying to say, praising the effort that they were trying to get a word out is really important in them continuing to try to build their speech. And also trying to get to the root of the cause of the speech delay, because I know some people will just delay getting checked, and sometimes that's okay because kids develop at different paces, but there is a certain point where you may want to speak to your pediatrician about it, and if you're concerned, then talk to them. And if the doctor says, you know, let's just wait and see if they start talking by this date, then do that. But if you're concerned, don't wait too long, because there may be something that's fixable that can be done that will make it so your child won't be far behind. Like I have a few friends whose kids needed tubes put in their ears, and their kids weren't speaking at all because their kids couldn't hear, and they had tubes put in their ears, and immediately they started gaining vocabulary. So they wouldn't have been that far behind had they not gotten the tubes. And sometimes that's not parents delaying, sometimes that's doctors waiting. So my advice is to push. I mean, we're not shy anymore about these kinds of things. Sophia doesn't have any hearing loss or anything. Hers is obviously low tone and those kinds of things, so we know why her speech delay is happening. But if there is no obvious reason, then I would ask. There's no harm in asking. And just because a doctor tells you there's nothing wrong, if your child is getting older and older and you are still not seeing any development in speech and you're worried, get a second opinion. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, and if your kid needs tubes or they need speech therapy, there's nothing wrong with any of that either. And I think that there needs to be more people realizing that just because your kid needs a little extra help, it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with your child. So that is my advice on, oh, I thought somebody was coming up to the door. It's my head in the lens. That was stupid. Well, that was my little rant on speech delay. And if you have any other questions on any other things that we use, there's also, oh, I didn't pull them out. They didn't really help Sophia because her mouth is kind of tiny. And, but there's things called P's and Q's, and they're little rubber thingies that you put in their mouth, and it's supposed to help do speech. Sophia hated them, but supposedly they help with some kids. So those are also on Amazon. So you can look into those. But other than that, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to ask. I will do my best to answer. I hope that I brought out as many examples as I could of what we use for her speech delay. There's a lot of little things that we do like every day that I probably didn't think of, but hopefully this helped a little bit in giving you tips. And if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you are not subscribed, go ahead and do that, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.